Hey friends, happy Monday to you, the 25th of September. Happy start to a work week. I'm Father Bill Hill, priest at Holy Spirit Catholic Community in Rock Springs, Wyoming. I will share with you a reflection on the daily readings. The daily readings are linked down below. Click the link, read the readings prayerfully, and then turn off the screen. Spend some time with God before you move on to other things. We have shifted gears. We've been working on a few New Testament letters of Paul for the last few weeks, and now we are switching back into the Old Testament for the next 3 weeks. And we are going to get a brief sampling of the 12 minor prophets. So they're called minor, not because they're insignificant or unimportant or we don't care about them, but just because the lengths of their books are shorter compared to Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah. So these are the 12 minor prophets. Today, and for the next 3 days, we have Ezra. And really, what I'm thinking about in relation to Ezra is more about what's behind the text, or what's not being said here, that's understood in kind of culture, but not included here. So Ezra is going to be one of those who helps to refound Jerusalem after the Babylonian exile. So Jerusalem and Judah the leadership goes into exile in about 587 BC. Jerusalem is conquered and destroyed, and all sorts of terrible things happen. And their leadership gets shipped into exile to Babylon, 500 miles to the east. And it's unclear when and if they ever will come back. Remember, this is the southern kingdom, Judah. The northern kingdom, about 200 years before, had gone off into exile with the Assyrians and had never been seen again, regardless of what some faith communities might tell us, right? So it's a big deal for the leadership of Jerusalem and Judah to get carted off into exile, because that means that they are really in danger of being blotted off the face of the earth. So that's where this passage comes in. The Babylonians fall, the Persians then supplant them. So there's a shakeup of power, right? And Cyrus, the king of the Persians, is now the most important. And history does not speak well of Cyrus. Cyrus is generally viewed as an awful, brutal, just terrible leader towards foreign people. But Jewish people have always had a fond spot in their hearts, because Cyrus releases them from exile and sends them back to Jerusalem to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, to provide defense, to be an actual city, to rebuild the temple, and provides them with resources in order to do it. And you can hear in this passage that they see Jeremiah the prophet as having one of the promises of God fulfilled, that they would indeed return after 70 years. Just a good opportunity for us maybe to sit. And I know, right? The ancient history stuff, I get super excited. Most of us, I think, our eyes gloss over with it. But be mindful of the ways that God has been faithful. God's been true to the promises, to us, to the people, to the church. You know, and to take that cosmic vision, right? That like, God is using all of the process, all of the pain, all of the suffering, everything that's going on in the midst of the world, you know, all of the individual dramas, but blown out to just do God's will, to complete the masterpiece of creation in whatever way that is, in whatever way we participate in it. You know, maybe you just sit a bit with that mystical vision as you pray with Ezra and the return from exile. Okay. Gospel of Luke, we have another kind of fairly familiar passage. We might be more familiar with this from Matthew, but the image of the light and the lampstand being light for the world. How are your actions, choices, decisions to love, to be of service, to be of care, to be a person of faith, how is that light for the world today? Maybe recommit to being light. There's a juxtaposition or a jarring note in this that I'm curious about. About 3/4 of the way through, Jesus is giving a visual image, right? Light. But then he says, take care then how you hear. Odd. Doesn't quite fit, right? I oftentimes will warn us about who we're paying attention to, what voices we are exposed to, especially if those voices are angry, judgy, divisive voices. We need to be really careful because that can rob us of our gospel joy. Be careful how you hear, right? Who are you listening to? Who has your ear? What kind of words are they speaking? Are they words that build up and help us to live lives of service and love? Take care how you hear. So, be a light and pay attention to your hearing. What's the Lord want to do in your midst today? Happy Monday, friends. Read those readings prayerfully. Turn off the screen. Spend some time with God before you move on to other things. Pray for folks that are having a hard time. God bless y'all.